Structure. Let's touch on this, okay? The structure of your website is wildly important. Absolutely, positively, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, I can explain it. I want you to think about this from a buying a link point of view or getting a link point of view, okay? Now, you can follow along with me here. Say we are a plumber. I don't know. How about Miami? Or better yet, I'm sorry. How about what's a typical? So we should do it typical. Let me do it typical. Flordia, right? Miami. Plumber. How about emergency plumbing? Okay. There's one example. Okay. Now let me give you another example, and then we're going to talk about this from a buying a link point of view. Okay. Now you have HTTPS. Now remember, okay, we have website.com. You can't get around that. / emergency plumber. It probably is. It's neither here nor there. So website.com, Florida, Miami, plumber, emergency plumbing, or website.com / emergency plumbing, Miami, Florida. Which one of these websites, more importantly, which one of these pages is more likely to rank? Now, while you're asking yourself that, let me ask you a question. If you were going to buy a link, where at on this page would you want to get your link? Would you want to get your link here? Here? But this is not in the deal, okay? Do you want to get your link from Florida, Miami, plumber, or the emergency plumbing page? Which one? You'd want to get it from here. Well, why is that? Because it's closer to the root. And as you go further inside of the structure, you're showing less and less importance to the pages that follow. Okay? So what I'm getting at here is when you only have one primary service, and even better, say you have 10 services, but they're all pretty much the same flipping thing, right? And you're really only targeting one location. My best advice would be build out location-based service pages and keep those pages as close to the root. And the reason is what you're going to find is you start ranking these pages here. Okay? So if you're out in the world and you're creating your HTTPS, okay? Plus there's too many hops. Even if you're like this, website.com / services / this is my favorite, / Houston plumber, okay? On this service pages, you're listing out all of the different services. What's the probability of you ranking this page? Pretty low, right? If you're going to structure it down, okay? So you have your primary service, right, which is verified with Google My Business, right? But you want to go a little bit farther, okay? And this happens a lot. I get this a lot. Like, you're like, dang, I really want to rank in these other areas. Well, here's what's going on, okay? So if we have 5 primary services and we have 2 locations, okay? So we have our homepage. So it's clear that this is the homepage, right? So, all right. So we're going to say that this is the website, okay? We have our services. All right, so let's talk about service. And just for sake of coming up with like plumber or whatever, like let's just call it here. Better yet, where do you want to operate at? We want to do we need some more information, right? So we still need to know where are we at. So the primary business, which is verified, okay, is in Houston. But we also want to rank in Austin, Okay, and let's have a little bit more fun. Let's say we want to do Dallas too. I have no idea who this is. I don't know who's messaging me. I assume that maybe you're watching. Put it in. I'm not sure. Houston. Okay. So we have home, we have service, and we have locations. Okay. This is our normal layout. Okay. And I hope this helps you out. I hope that this helps you out. Okay. And this is normally what I see. Okay. You'll have your services, and we'll say that you are doing service 1, service 2, service 3. Okay. And then you have your locations, right? You have your Houston, you have your Austin, and you have your Dallas. Okay. And then what I typically will see, okay, is this type of structuring. Okay. So you'll have your HTTPS, services, oh, I'm sorry. You'll have your website.com / services / this, like, I don't know, Houston -service -1, right? And this is generally what I see. Okay. This is the norm. I see this a lot. Okay. And there are, just because other sites, in my opinion, one guy's opinion, what do I know, right? Just because you see a lot of other websites that have been around for multiple years performing very well and their structure is off, doesn't mean that we need to follow suit with structure, right? We want to get to the finish line faster, right? And we know that staying closer to the root will help us tell Google, right? A bot, a robot, technically, that, hey, this page is important. We can also support the importance of a page by sending external backlinks in, votes, from other websites that have high referring domain counts, that are high authority. And if we really want the cherry on top, the page is all about our primary service and the anchor text is about our primary service. But that doesn't mean that that link won't pass any value, even if it's about something entirely different, right? Like, I could send in a link from a page that's all about Houston plumbing, okay? Houston plumbing services, and that's great. And that link, yeah, that's a cherry link. That's a premium link. That's great. But I could have a page that is about, I don't know, Long John Silver's. The anchor text could be Long John Silver. And if that link has a lot of referring domains and that website is good, very well internally linked, and I get a link from that site, I'll still get credit for the link. You know what I'm saying? So, in any case, let's go back down here quick. And what I want to do is showcase maybe something that might help you out a little bit more. So you're still going to have your homepage, and I don't think that you should showcase a homepage. Like, I just don't think that you should have a home button. I think that the image is probably good enough, okay? But here's what I would do. Okay? And also, just because you make a tab at the top, okay? Like, just because I have a tab, let me share this with you. Just because I have a tab that says Chris Palmer SEO, it doesn't mean that I have to have a page that's Chris Palmer SEO. You can change this to be whatever you want. I click on Chris Palmer SEO. The name of the page is actually just SEO, and the name of the page is Chris Palmer Marketing - Chris Palmer SEO. Just because you actually have this hyperlinked here, and or a word that's there, it doesn't mean that that page actually has to exist. It could be whatever you want. It's your website. You're the webmaster. That's what's great about this. Okay? So that's one of the pieces that you need to note. So what I like to do generally is this. Okay. Say you have your 3 services or 5 services or 12 services. And then you'll have your locations, right? Now, if you have a boatload of locations, then get a drop down or a mega menu, and that's fine. But what I like to do is this. Okay, so let's just say it's you can write services, you can write whatever. I'm writing services just to showcase what I mean. Okay. Okay. And then you're gonna have your Dallas, right? Okay. Now again, you could have a drop down or a mega menu. Okay. But it's going to go a little like this. Now, this is usually what I end up seeing. And I'm not saying that it doesn't work. It can. This will work faster. Okay. When we're talking about SEO, like there's a trillion ways to swing a cat, right? But there's some ways that you could swing maybe a little faster, right? And when we're talking about the SEO, we always miss the most important letter in that, the optimization. Like, the optimization is reaching the finish line for the fastest and the cheapest. The guy who could get there the fastest and the cheapest and stay there, that's the winner. Because honestly, if somebody comes and has a $20,000 budget, literally, my son, he's 4. With a $20,000 budget, I guarantee you, he could make anybody rank. Now, if you could rank in a high competition area with nothing and a tiny budget and stay there, now that's the guy. That's the guy, right? Or the gal. It could be whoever you want it to be. So now, here, let's take a look at this. So we have our HTTPS //. We have our to be difference at the top in order for it to stay indexed. Stay indexed. Okay, there has to be a variation. There needs to be, it's much less than passing the duplicate content filter because I'm not duplicating content in the same SERP. It's a different SERP. Okay, Google ranks pages, not sites. I'm not competing in the same SERP. And if you are, then you either need to de-optimize a page, and this is one of the things that comes up a lot too. Hey, I have 2 pages competing with each other in the same SERP. Why is that a problem? You have 2 pages in the same SERP. The only way that that's going to be a problem is if the only way that I would see this as a problem is if my blog page that converts at 13% is beating out my Houston Plumber services page. Now that's an issue, right? But if I have my homepage competing with a primary service page and they're taking up 2 spots on the first page, who cares? Hooray for us, right? Okay, let's keep going with this. We have this is supporting content or a blog content, okay, off of the main concept. One of our primary services is going to be plumbers or plumber. All right, so let's talk about structuring now. So we have our main website. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do Control-C, and then I'm going to do a paste. Okay, so we have our website.com. Now let's come into here. We have our Houston service page 1, right? Control-V. All right, so we have our website, Houston service 1, whatever your service 1 is. If you want to do other pages, that's fine, but that goes under your Houston, okay? Dallas, okay. Dallas, we have 8 services or 20 services or 50 services. Cool. Great, blow them out. You need to have dedicated pages. If they're worth targeting, then they're worth having their own page. And if they're not, then why are they there, right? And then when we're talking about supporting content, this is where, in my opinion, this is where we start our siloing of content or where this should go. Now, this is housed under the news or blog, or my favorite thing is to utilize a primary keyword, like plumbing tips in this, for instance, or plumber marketing or plumber. Pick your keyword that's really high volume, that's really big, because this is a standalone page, this blog page, okay? Now, if you take a look at Brian Dean's website, the only reason I'm mentioning him is because everybody knows who he is. He sold his website to SEMrush. The way he lays out his blog, it's backlinko.com/blog, right? And listed on that blog page is a list of articles, correct? But when you click on an article, it doesn't say backlinko.com/blog/name of the article. No. What it does is it goes directly to a page, right? But what I'm getting at here is that structure, how he's laying out that blog, that's how you lay out your blog. However, when you click on that article, right? So let's do this visually. So we have this page right here, right? This is our blog. I'm just going to call it blog. I think you should use a keyword, okay? But let's say it's your HTTPS website.com / right? You have your blog, okay? Probably in this case, let's just say it's plumber tips, okay? But that's your blog. On that website, you're going to have your pages. This is a page, this is a page. But when I click on that page, it does not go to your website.com / who is the best plumbers in Houston. No. What that goes to is you create a supporting piece of content. So you don't make the URL flat. You support the main topic or idea or the main category or your main service. It's a supporting piece of content to the primary service. This way, like to Google, you're saying, hey, this is supporting the main concept. And now you can do your riskier link building, aka cheaper link building, without risking the king, without risking the primary service pages. You see? So I can have my HTTPS / right? I have my website.com / what did I call it? Houston, HOUSTON -plumber. I build out a supporting piece of content and I call it what? What's it called? It's called Who's the Best Plumber in Houston? Right? Who is the best plumber in Houston? Right? Here's how we would structure that out. Okay? Now we have our website.com / Houston plumber. Who's the best plumber in Houston? This idea supports this idea.